Hey folks, today marks the 1 year anniversary since I planted this tank. I want to tell you how it's doing and talk about what's inside of it. It's all coming up right after this. Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec, and it's kind of a short week for me this week. I've had a lot of work to do. I'm going on vacation again, like for a short weekend trip this weekend, so I don't have a lot of time for a video, but I noticed that it was the 1 year update for this. Not the 1 year update of the video, which was like August 1st, I think, but the day I planted it will actually be this coming Sunday when this video comes out. Noticing that and thinking about how that 1 year kind of just came and went so fast, I thought it'd be fun to do a video and just kind of do a progress update on this, similar to last week's, but a little bit longer out. I'd like to start by thanking my Patreons, past, present, and future. The past Patreons that helped me put this tape together a year ago. The future Patreons that will work on the next project that I do. I really love you guys. I really appreciate your help. And I'm working hard to make good videos for you. The next water change companion is coming up. Like, I've finished editing the main videos. I just need to kind of like make some bumpers to go on the front and the back of it, and then they're ready to go. I was going to try to do it last month. Now I'm shooting for maybe the end of this month or the beginning of August. Okay, so what do we have here? This is a Hydra 25-gallon tank. It's an all-in-one tank in that it's got the filter mechanism. It's got a space for the heater, a space for a pre-filter that would include like your biological stuff and your pre-filter stuff, and a pump out area in the back. There's a translucent piece of glass or plexiglass. I don't know which. I think it's glass, but it's sort of a tinted glass on the very back panel that separates a whole back compartment. That's roughly, I would say, it's probably an eighth. 1/8 of the total width of this thing is that back compartment. What makes this unique, without dwelling on it too much because I've talked about it a lot of times before, but what makes it unique is that the panels in the back, like the pre-staging area where the heater stays, and the pre-filter area where the biological stuff and any sponges that you put in there are, and the pump out area, all have these baffles, so that as the water decreases, it'll collect and stay at a certain level in there. So you don't have to worry about maybe your heater burning up if you keep it really low in there. It'll stay below those baffles, and the water doesn't drain out of there quite as much. Your pump will also, if your pump's turned off, it's also going to stay submerged. And your biological stuff in there, if it's towards the bottom, it's going to stay submerged. It's definitely something unique about this particular tank. And 7 Ports does a bunch of different versions of this. I've got a 10-gallon and I've got this 25-gallon. I actually have a 3-gallon. Yeah, I have a 3-gallon that works the same way too, so I'll have to break that out soon. Algae and plants have been a breeze with the substrate that I've used. I used really easy plants for the most part. The one plant that I planted in here, I've been real surprised that hasn't done well, are the swords. I put these swords in there, and they're still sort of alive on either side here, but they're not doing very well at all. The Buse has been doing pretty good. It blooms on a regular basis. I'll get little blooms through my little Buses down in the front here. Anubias is doing pretty good. It's got a lot of holes in it, but some of it wasn't great when I put it in there. And I didn't trim any of the leaves. I'm slowly kind of trimming out the holier leaves, the leaves that aren't as good. And it seems to be growing really steady and just kind of staying nice and thick. I've got some giant Java fern in the back. I don't know where I got all this Java fern, but it's humongous. As I put it in nice areas, and it kind of adapts to those areas, it turns into these huge leaves. It makes a nice kind of background plant. It's sort of doing a little bit of what I wanted the sword plants to do. I might actually get some more and kind of spread that out across the whole background and just kind of like make it a whole thing back there in the back. The 4-leaf clover made a really nice carpet. This was one of my first indicators too that I was going to have a decent carpet there. It grew in really thick. It kind of grew up. It got a little bit algified, and then it just kept going. So it's now making its way around to the other side. On either side here, it's those little four-leaf clovers are going around. And now, as it gets darker in the back, I'm wondering if it's going to send up those little runners like it's doing in the other tank downstairs, and get those really tall clovers coming up. I see, if I look back there, I can see kind of a little bit of that going on, so it'll be interesting to see how tall they actually get. My guess is that that's going to run all around the back, then come around here, and then it'll kind of start again. A lot of what I see in the bottom here is old growth. I don't see like a lot of new stuff happening here. And it is where I tend to get what hair algae I do get is usually around on here. I've got a little bit of algae on the driftwood as well. I always see my shrimp on there eating it off, and they seem to be taking care of that. So it hasn't been a problem. Like, it's just got kind of a green hue to it, but there's not like any filamental algae to pull off. Since I'm talking about my shrimp, let's go ahead and talk about what's in this tank now. This is another tank that sometimes at first glance when you come by, it's like, wow, that's an empty tank, Pecktec. Why you have this big tank with nothing in it? But it's absolutely full of fish. One of my favorite fishes in this tank is the exclamation point rasbora. I've still got about 8 of them, and they're doing really good. I love to see them swimming in here, swimming in and out, interacting with things. Something that I've mostly removed from this tank, aside from one female that I cannot catch, are the endlers. I took all of them out, and they were dispensed to friends and other tanks and other places. So all the endlers are out of here and into other tanks. That left me a lot more room for other things. The most recent acquisitions are the peacock gudgeons that I brought up from Aquashella. They're settled in here and doing really nice. I've got about 5 of them in here, and I think that's neat. There are good fish that aren't very shy, very colorful, not very shy though, and really interesting behavior between the males and the females. I've kept them a lot. I really like it. It's one of my favorite fish, and I was super happy when Jen Williams gave them to me to send up here. Thank you, Jen. They're doing great. I've got my orange shrimp, or they kind of look a little bit yellow up here. I noticed immediately that they're one of the first shrimp that I moved from downstairs to up here. I noticed immediately the size difference is amazing. Like, the females get really big in here, and I can't tell a lot of difference in the males. Now, I haven't seen a lot of baby shrimp in here. I think they hide, but there are definitely more shrimp than I put in here. So they are breeding and reproducing in here. I'm seeing them more and more often all around the tank. They get into this back filter compartment, and I see a lot of people when they had the flex or something like that, they're worried about that back filter compartment. My shrimp are all over those compartments, and they do just fine. Maybe a shrimplet or two has gotten sucked into an intake, like a pump out intake or something like that, but for the most part, they're just fine. And it's not really something to worry about. I've got lots and lots of shrimp breeding tanks that have pumps like that. While I might have potential to kill something, it's a potential danger that a shrimplet might be able to get in. For the most part, it's safe, and your shrimp are smart enough to not get in there. So several months ago, I also put a tiny Siamese algae eater. It's still doing well. It's still small enough to fit in here and not cause any problems and stuff. And obviously, it's doing its job because I see absolutely no black beard algae at all in here, and the rest of the algae is really fine, except for, maybe in little thick patches down in the clover. And I only occasionally see one of those. There would be like a little buildup of material inside of there. The Chinese butterfly loach is another fish that I've put in here. I guess since the 4-month update it was in there. But it's doing great. It's always out. I see it all the time. I have another one downstairs. I think I mentioned it last week that I never see. Never, ever, ever see it. So I'm happy to have it in here. It seems to be doing really well and enjoying the way I've got it set up for it. Also have a ruby loach. Or I've got 2 females and a male ruby loaches in here, and they come out and run around when I put food in there. Otherwise, I pretty much don't see them. Hopefully, I get a photograph of them. Yeah, the last fish I'll describe in here is probably the most boring of all of them. It's the emerald dwarf rasbora. It's the cousin of the galaxy rasbora or celestial pearl danio, however you want to call them. I say that mostly because they're really similar in size and shape. Like if it was just a silhouette, it would probably be hard to distinguish between the two unless you really looked at it very closely. Other than that, just about everything is different. They seem much more shy, even than the Galaxy Rasboras. Like they are really shy, but I have about I have over 10 in here. I have probably 12, 13 of those things in here, and I really don't see them very often, except when I feed. The Celestial Pearl Danios in other tanks seem to be a little bit more out in the open. Like I didn't have to give them quite so many of their school before they felt more comfortable coming out. At least for the most part. I think I've had them before where they were really, really shy. Usually, the more you add to the school, the more you see them, just because of just space, and they like to be so far away from each other, I guess. Or eventually, they feel comfortable, like there's enough of them they can kind of come out and wander around without being the only one out there. They're a neat fish. I'll probably just keep adding more and see if it gets if it gets to the point where I see them more often. Also, if I put the dimmer on the light, uh, if I ended up taking this Kessel and putting the controller on it so it actually ramp up and ramp down, I might see them more often as the light gets a little dimmer. I noticed the Emerald Tetras downstairs do really well as the light gets dimmer and dimmer. But that's about all I have for today. Just a quick video. I hate to do 2 updates like this in a row, but it's like, wow, it's been 1 year exactly. The day this comes out, it'll be 1 year exactly since I planted this tank. And kind of got it all going. So I thought it would be really interesting to do that now. This summer's been sort of a wash with activities, lots of stuff going on. I ordered some dirt supplement from Father Fish. So he sent me this bag. It's enough to do like 100-gallon tank worth of dirt supplement. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to redo a couple of tanks. I'm going to set up a 20-gallon, no filter, complete through the flower horn style. I'm basically going to take some of his videos and emulate what he's done, but I'm going to add some of the Father Fish supplement into the dirt as I do it. And I'm going to redo another tank. I've got the face tank over there, kind of needs a reset too. I'm not sure if I'll do it with dirt or I'll do it a more traditional way. I haven't decided yet. But I've got a couple of projects coming up, and I hope that you'll come around and join me. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and hit like on the way out. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. It's completely free to hit that like button, right? Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll be back real soon with another video. Until next time, follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon.